Wow. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Bronze Reaper podcast. I'm your host, Rosalind Perkins, and today we got a great show. What's going on, Dorsey? What's going on, Ray Ray? We got a wonderful show today. Give me a 1 second. I gotta open up a window. Mm, Hold on 1 second. I just gotta open up the studio. Mm, Black Diaspora versus Black Americans. The real tension. Why do the Black Diaspora has a problem with the Black Americans admixture culture. Everybody always has this. Everybody always has this thing thinking that Black Americans are saying that we do not have African DNA, but we have more than just African DNA. I know a lot of people are mad about that, but you shouldn't be mad about that. We will talk. We'll go into the history. We will go into the history about it, the allegations, and um, also the other stuff with the conflict. So there's gonna be three things. I was in the motion of writing it and stuff, but I just didn't have time. I was in and out, and I was doing a whole bunch of other stuff. So thank y'all for the show was gonna be really really good because I had like things that I was gonna talk about. If my whole good opinion on this topic. But before we get into the topic, don't forget to like and subscribe and comment in the live chat. When you comment in the live chat, don't forget to hit the share button, share to 5 different platforms or 5 different people or 3 different platforms and 2 different people or wherever how you want to do it. Just let it at least add up to 5. Um Also, oh yeah, also don't forget to hit the Cash App and the GoFundMe. Definitely. Give me 1 second. Don't forget to hit the GoFundMe. That is very important. Definitely the GoFundMe. The GoFundMe is for the short film and the documentary as well that I am getting involved. But most of this is going to the GoFundMe. But a lot of this right now will be going to but the Cash App usually goes into the platform, but definitely to the GoFundMe. So definitely hit that button for the GoFundMe. It helps the platform and stuff. So just don't forget. Give me a second. And don't forget also too, if you want to jump on the stream, you got to give a donations. Ain't nothing for free anymore. As my business partner says, ain't nothing for free. So definitely, get on your P's and Q's about, how you want to do this or how you want to, if you want to jump online. Even the people who I talk to most of the time knows that, I have to do this and they understand it. And they actually told me to do it first before we started doing it, as a whole. Give me a second, everybody. I don't know what's going on today. Everything feels different. Uh, okay, it's this one. All right, here we go. Mm, we will be having a decent show today because there we go. It will be a fast show, but yeah, definitely. Just stay here, barbershop. To be perfect as long as you keep it real and truthful. Shout out to you, Dorsey. Salute, salute, salute. So, while I was doing my research, a lot of people don't understand. I got Miss Miranda with me, so I got 5. Thanks, Dorsey. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. So if people don't understand, Black Americans is technically indigenous to America, and the reason why is because of the 5 civilized tribes and probably more tribes. If people don't know what the civilized tribes is, it's give me a second, I'll let you know. And this is what we consider Afro-Indigenous, and I might have to leave back and forth to go check on my children. Um, but the 5 civilized tribes are Cherokee, the Choctaw, the Chowak, the Creek, and the Seminoles. Those are considered the 5 civilized tribes. And most of them were Afro-Indigenous, with admixtures and stuff. Because if we already know, there was only 4% of Africans that came to America from the slave ship. So I think the video that we did, the reaction video that we have done Saturday is really good because this is where we consider this is where we can talk about reparations. They do owe us reparations, and the best scenario I can give you is say if I bought a house, you stole my house and you passed it on to your kids. um do you still want that? Do you still want that house still to go to your kids? You know, those are the questions that you should be thinking about or even asking. um of course you still want that house to go to your kids, even if you're dead, or even if there's a whole situation, you want that to go to your kids. um and also, when I said an admixture, yes, we have Western and Central African ancestries or DNA, Europeans, and we have indigenous, Native American. But what's so different about our Western and Central African ancestries? Those is probably thousands of years ago. You know, I'm not trying to be no conspiracy theorist, but at the end of the day, this is something that we should talk about. People don't forget. People forget about the freemen of the five tribes or civilized tribes. There's a reason why they were freedmen. There's a reason why there's a lot of Black Americans in the South. You know, as I said, everybody always gets this shit fucked up. But at the end of the day, there's a reason why people back in the days used to say, "Yo, I'm Native American. I'm Indigenous American." I personally like the word indigenous a little bit better than aboriginals or Native American. You know, yes, we are native to this land, but we are more indigenous than I would say native. You know, but before we start, I just wanted to say a little bit, but this is why people have a problem with that. You know, people think we're calling ourselves the Red Indians. Do we have red natives in us? Probably. You know, because we weren't the only ones here. We were here first, but we wasn't the only ones here. There's a reason why that these Serbian Indians are saying that they're Indian. You know, and I know I'm gonna have the Pan Africans and the diaspora saying something different, but that's a good thing. We want to know the reason why. You know, this is the reason why I say what I say. You know, um, give me a second, everybody. But I'm gonna start reading the live chat before we start. We'll start in probably like 10 minutes. You know, if anybody wants to talk, let me know. It's like, yo, I want to call it. I mean, I want to link up or call in. All you got to do is give it a donation. That's it. Give me a second, everybody. I got to charge my phone. Hmm. So yeah, that's what you got to do. Just call in. You know, you know me. I let y'all call in. I let y'all, do y'all thing. I'm not gonna stop y'all from doing y'all thing. So let me go into the live chat before. Oh, you calling in? All right, Dorsey. Give me a second. Mm, all right, Dorsey, call in. But there's a reason why a lot of people say this. And the thing about it, what is the problem with Black Americans saying that? Oh yeah, I trust you. Um, and I'm gonna put a live thing on the bottom just to let everybody know. Donation, donations to call in or link up. But yeah, um, definitely. Let's see. Let me see what everybody else is timing in. What everybody's saying. What's going on, Dorsey? What's going on, Ray? Ray tensions is an interesting. Interesting. It seems like envy. Yeah, I agree with that. What's the topic? Told you the topic. What's up, Ray? Ray? What's wrong? Bronze. Your energy is off. My energy off? Nah, I've been busy, um, just getting things set up and stuff. So, me working out, stretching. So yeah, that's all I've been doing. Uh, this is the barber. Your facts. I like that one, Dusty. It's on the way. Yep. Miss Ramirez is into her killer horror movies for black people in the movie. Shout out to Miss Ramirez. Let's see what everybody. Oh, we'll talk to. What's going on, Dorsey? Uh, it's good. It's good. Give me a second. I just learned a new thing, so we don't. I don't have to put you on that other screen. Uh, just entire over here. Yeah, that one right there. Click that over. All right, give me a second. All right, all set. What's going on, Dorsey?
All right. You good?
Yeah, we good.
Okay. So the reason why I'm doing a little research is because you
Hold on, let me see.
mentioned about the
Actually, let me
civilized
hold
nations
on.
in the
Hold on one
South.
second. Hold on. Give me a second. Let me see if this works. All right, all set. What's going on, Dorsey? All right. We good? Yeah, we good. Okay. So, all right. Yeah, we good. They can hear you.
Okay. So not only did you have the civilized tribes in the South,
Mm-hmm.
meaning from Florida all the way to Louisiana to parts of Texas, the Seminoles, the Cherokee, the Creek, the Natchez, the
Mm-hmm.
Choctaw, Chickasaw.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Chickasaw. That's what.
so you had like it was regional. So you had like the Creek
Oh,
and the
hold on one second.
Cherokee.
Hold on one second. There were more. There were more than just those tribes, but those were the five main Black American tribes that were in the South. There were some in New York and in the West Coast and all up on the East and North, especially in Canada and Alaska. This is why you have Black Aboriginals in Canada and what is it? Where are the Rocks Fathers
Ottawa.
from?
They in
No,
Ottawa.
no, the other one with the two
Which
words.
one? The Muckala? Which
No,
one
no,
you talking about?
uh,
The Muskegans?
no, that's New York. No, what's that place in Canada? Nova Scotia. Nova Scotia. There were black people there, black Afro indigenous, if you want to say, you know.
Okay.
But go on.
So you 100% because I was finna first talk about the civilized tribes. That was the black. Those the black Indians as far as in the South, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then if you're coming up the eastern seaboard, from South Carolina, Georgia, you got the Seminoles, you got the Creek, the Cherokee, You got the Gulas, what's their name? The Gullas,
Oh,
the
Gullah
Geechees.
Geechees? Yeah.
Yeah, and then you got the ones up there at Nantucket. You see what I'm saying? Nantucket is an Indian word.
Yeah, Nantucket.
Massachusetts is an Indian
Yeah.
word.
I was about to say that too.
Okay,
That's why.
okay. So you
That's
got
why.
the
Oh, Dorsey, if you ever look at the Massachusetts flag, who do they have on it?
they got an Indian
Hmm.
or FBA, every way you want to look at it.
Hmm.
Okay, so then not only do you have them, you have to understand that though you had the what was called the Iroquois Confederacy,
Hmm.
meaning there was a loose band, a loose tribes of the Iroquois Nation. I think it was like 7 of them, right, all the way from Long Island up to New York and so forth,
Hmm.
right?
And
Now when you got up there to
there's
the
another one with the M too. That's where Sarnetta's mother's from. Sarnetta's black.
right, the Mohegans, the
Yeah.
Mohegans.
That's who they was. Okay. Okay.
Okay, so then you had them, and then once you got up to Maine and Nova Scotia, you had another tribe of FBAs, and they were whalers. They was in the boats. They was in the fishing.
Hmm.
You see where I'm coming from?
Hmm.
So we had a wide variety of different traits, nations, and this and that. So then when the English started coming over, the French and the English, because that's when the division really started.
Hmm.
Because tribes started taking sides who they were going to support.
Yeah.
Most of the northern tribes sided with the French because you got to understand Champaign, Michigan, Detroit, Michigan. You see what I'm saying? The Great Lakes, man, the French was like, let's get busy.
Yeah.
The French was like that. The French, to be honest with you, the French was way more diplomatic
The
the
indigenous.
native original aborigines than the English was. Because the
Right.
English was where you got the real white supremacy coming from.
Yeah. The barbarians, as I call them. They were
Right,
barbarians. You know.
right. So then when you had people who were sitting up here taking baths and doing their hair, washing their hair, think about it.
Mm.
The people who was taking care of their bodies naturally, berries, nuts, this and that, had themselves in real nice, healthy diets and this and that. We had houses before the white man got here, because that's what be pissing me off.
Let me
We
ask
had
you. Let me
houses.
ask you a question because we're kind of going off topic, but we're not. Kind of not. I want to say this. Where does the why do the red Serbians, Indians, or Serbian indigenous have a problem with that? Us being native to this land.
Because you have to understand the ones that was more accepting of the white man,
Where the Serbians.
they were the ones who was the traitors. You understand what I'm saying?
Hmm. Oh, let me
It's
ask you
kind
a
of
question.
like 300.
Let me ask you a
Huh?
question. Do you think we should do a bronze nation? I mean, a Reaper's nation of the five civilized tribes.
I mean, it would be a more educating toward the tethers, but then the tethers don't. I mean, come on, man, they can look this shit up themselves.
No, I'm talking about
If
I'm
we want
talking
to do
about
it
a
for
show. I'm talking about a show. I think we should. You know what? Let me put that in the live chat. See what everybody thinks. But go on, go on, go on.
yeah,
Sorry.
because we've told them a million times where they can find this information that's verified, that's in the Smithsonian. I mean, it would be a more educated. The Smithsonian has so many photographs of the different tribes, the ones in the Eskimo outfits and all that. So, I mean, man, it's been documented a million times. For the last 50 years, we've been documented and showed them evidence. I mean,
Mm,
I ain't gonna be showing my ID to a motherfucker too many times.
yeah.
When I own the club,
Mm,
that's how I feel. We own the club. So why the fuck we got to show ID?
yep.
Is you know where I'm coming from?
Mm-hmm.
We was here. You know, they keep on trying to say, well, the white man, yeah, the white man landed his ass over here and he contributed to what we had already built.
Mm.
Because then, like I said, it wasn't until the French and after the French and Indian War did the Americans even start talking about having their freedom.
Yeah, that's true.
Then to then to also show you something, Christopher Essex was the first person to give his life about freedom here in
Mm.
America.
That's crazy.
And let that be a lesson to y'all. Y'all be out here showing out for them white folks, and the first people they gonna shoot is a black person. That's what the British did, right? He was talking
Mm-hmm.
big, Christopher Adams. He was cooking them, right?
Mm-hmm. Keep on talking. I'll be right back. I'm gonna just go check on my.
And that white officer, he was like, man, I'm not gonna sit up here and let this barbarian talk to me this way. And they shot him. And because they was such poor shots, they hit 4 other people along with him. That's a Boston Massacre. Because we gonna roast you. They probably talked about them in the wig, talked about they stank, did all those things because it was the truth. They were when them British started coming into them people's houses. Remember, they was putting them up in people's houses, right? So, do you think the British came in there respectfully and shit? You know,
Hell no.
and you, huh?
Hell no. They,
Nah. That's
they were
why
on that
Andrew
bullshit.
Jackson had a hatred for him, huh?
Mm-hmm. They were on that bullshit.
They was on that bullshit. But the ones who the natives, for us as natives, we always had hospitality. And in turn, what does the white man do? See, I hate to go into them terms because I don't want to get flags and nothing. But the truth is this: Miles Standish was a 30-something-year-old white Englishman,
Mm.
and Pocahontas was a 12-year-old girl.
Mm.
And he kidnapped that girl. He raped that girl. See, I'm trying to make sure I
Yeah.
don't.
No, you go. You go.
But then white folks got the audacity to go to Disney and then make it seem like she was Meg the Stallion. You know what I'm saying? Hey, okay, man. Hey, don't Pocahontas look like Meg the Stallion in the movie?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Yeah. See, that's the sexualization of our children and our people
Mm-hmm.
that they always prey upon. Do you know how many indigenous women are found killed outside of those reservations? We talking about modern times.
A lot. You know. Cause
Yeah,
don't forget. Don't forget.
but that's some
Don't forget.
Siberians.
A
Them
lot of.
Siberians don't be, huh?
Don't forget. A lot of these white supremacists are some sex freaks. You know. Like there's this guy.
Okay,
I'm gonna tell you a story. There was this guy in Boston. His name was Kurt Chisholm. Kurt Chisholm used to work for a morgue, but he used to fornicate. And this could be allegedly, but this is a Boston tall tales. Kurt Chisholm. I've been trying to look this motherfucker up online, but I heard when I ask people about Kurt Chisholm, black people about Kurt Chisholm, everybody laughs. Kurt Chisholm used to work for a morgue. And what he used to do is he used to fornicate with the dead bodies. So he was a philiac. One day, this motherfucker got his wee wee stuck up in there and had to call the EMTs to get it out. And this is how they found out he was freaking off. He was having freak offs with the dead bodies. Kurt Chisholm of Boston.
yeah.
This is
So he
a
was getting that
bust.
dead. He was hooking them up, huh?
Yeah, he was getting that. He was getting that dead coochie. Yeah, Kurt Chisholm. I tried to find this dude online. I couldn't find it. Mm-mm. But when you
Did he
ask the
show you
old
what
school,
was his name? What was his name? Kurt
Kurt
Gism.
Chisholm. No, Chisholm.
Gism?
Chisholm with a C.
Oh, I thought you said Kurt Gism.
No, Kurt Chisholm. I try to
I
find this
thought that was like his
guy.
porno stage name or
Oh
something.
no, no,
That's a
this
hell of
is
a name right there. Go
it could
Kurt
be
Jim.
Chisholm. Yeah, Chisholm. I try to
I
find
know.
this
I'm
dude
just
on.
fucking with you, man. I heard
Oh, okay,
Chisholm like
okay.
Shirley Chisholm. Nigga, I heard that shit 20
Yeah,
times. I just fucking with
yeah.
you. I'm saying Chisholm.
I thought I was saying it wrong. Like Jesus Christ, what am I? I got an accent or something? Jesus Christ. But yeah, I try to look this guy up, but every time I ask somebody from the 1960s and lower or 1970s and lower, they know about Kurt Chisholm. They know
Yeah,
about Kurt Chisholm.
I think that was an urban legend that got out where I was living as a
I,
kid.
I don't know, man, because I couldn't
He
find
an
it
urban
online.
legend, bro. He an urban legend. Yeah, he an urban legend.
But everybody knows him. That's the crazy part
Yeah,
because he
but you
lives in
gotta
Roxbury.
understand where I'm from is 1,000 miles away, and even we heard that.
What, Kurt Chisholm?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, they was saying, yeah, this guy named Kurt Chisholm.
So yeah, so when we extended our hospitality because that's how they got into the tent. Let's just say it
Hmm.
like that. That's how they got into the tent. First they was trading beads, right?
Yep.
And then we didn't have the concept of contract about land. We was just like, oh, y'all cool. Yeah, y'all can get as much beaver as you want. We didn't say you could have a land, nigga. We just said you could eat some of the shit off the land.
Yeah.
That's how Manhattan came about.
Hmm.
Manhattan was not an actual a land purchase. That wasn't no damn land purchase. It was a misunderstanding in the I think it was the Dutch. They had the pistols to back it up.
Hmm.
What was it? New Holland. What is New York used to be called? New Amsterdam. That's it. You see where I'm coming
Yeah.
from?
Hmm.
So they always try to play stupid when it come to us about hospitality, land rights, freedom, individual freedoms. You see where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
So when they came here, we educated them.
Yeah. Remember,
We
I keep
taught them
on
how to
telling
use the
you,
land.
Dorsey, if it wasn't for us, the indigenous, they would be eating each other.
Yeah,
They were on the board of cannibalism.
yeah.
But go on, Dorsey. 2 more minutes. 2 more minutes.
So then, like Roanoke, Virginia, and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And then, basically they couldn't really get a toehold in there because they came. First of all, they came with the diseases. Let's keep the shit real.
Hmm.
Let's keep it real. They were fugitives from England. They were rejects from England.
Hmm.
One thing about the French, when the French sent their guys, they sent them mountain men.
Hmm.
Them French dudes was in them canoes getting busy, killing beavers, muskrat, all of that. You know what I'm saying? They was into the
Hmm.
fur business. It was the British that decided that they want to set up colonies. I mean, I'm talking about large swath of land and so forth.
Mm.
And that's how the French and Indian War kicked off because the French had the whole up and down the Mississippi River.
Mm.
The British was only on one side of the Appalachian Mountains. The British wasn't nowhere near anywhere. Tennessee, to be honest, Tennessee wasn't even discovered.
Facts.
That's why they have them legends like Daniel Boone and all that bullshit.
Hmm.
Because that was undiscovered land as far as the white man was concerned, but we already had occupied the land.
Yep. That's true.
So from my ancestors, we're talking about the Choctaws. We're talking about the Natchez, the Cherokee. Well, understand this: the Natchez, which is a different tribe, they call it the Natchez. That's how you really pronounce it. They built a trail for trade all the way from the northern part of Alabama all the way to the central part of Louisiana. It's called the
Mm.
Natchez Trace.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. We also cultivated deer, white-tailed deer. People be like, hey, you can get. Yes, we did. We had herds of deer. We just let them run around because we hunted them down.
Facts.
We cleared the trees and the underbrush so that the grass could grow, and the deer would go and feed on that, and then we would just go in a circle and we would just shoot them with the arrow. Get what you need, and let the rest go.
Yeah, live off the land. Get what you need, not hoarder it. I know what you're talking about. Definitely, man. Give me a second.
So
30 more seconds, Dorsey. 30 more seconds.
okay, then we also taught their ass about combat,
Mm.
about military, about guerrilla warfare. Them niggas used to sit in a straight line and get shot. We taught them how to
Seminoles.
shoot from behind a tree,
The
behind a
Seminoles, right?
wall.
Was it the Seminoles?
Yeah, the Seminoles was guerrilla fighters also.
Mm. All right. No, go on, go on, go on, go on.
So if it wasn't for the
See you talk.
cannon and if it wasn't for the musket, they would have never been able to took our shit.
Yeah, I believe that.
So what so I'm finna land my plane. So what happens is these tethers, whether they from Venezuela, whether they from the 54 nations of Africa,
Mm-hmm.
whether they from how many nations it is in Asia, all of them,
Yeah.
they did not build this original country.
Dorsey,
We don't give a shit
Dorsey,
if it extends out to, huh?
that's not the question. That's not the topic.
What's the question?
The topic, Dorsey, why you always do this? The tension between black and the real tension, the black diaspora versus the black American, the real tension. I'm talking about the ethnogenesis part. Like,
Oh,
why do they have a
the real
problem?
the real
That's why
the
I said. That's why I
real
remember. That's why I was saying you're kind of off a topic. That's why I said that. But go on, go on, go on.
yeah, but see that's the whole thing. They say that we don't exist.
Mm,
Motherfucker, you can't tell me I don't because if they say you got no culture, you got this, you don't have this, you don't have that. So that means you don't ever exist.
mm,
That's why we fight for motherfucking existence.
mm.
And we didn't give a shit when we was having to fight it with the white man because we like shit. We ain't got no problem with that. But when it's from people who claim that they were our allies, who then sit up and talk the same bullshit and tell us that we are nobody,
Mm.
regardless of wherever we come from, we still nobody.
All right, 10 more seconds. 10 more seconds.
So that's the real conflict is the lack of respect, the lack of acknowledgement of the reality of the truth,
I, I'm
and the
sorry to
lack
cut you off.
and
I'm
the
sorry. I'm sorry to cut you off. I'll give you 10 more seconds, but I don't think it is about. I don't think it's about. I think it's more about acceptance, accepting that Black Americans is more than just what they think we are. It's more acceptance and entitlement. But go on, go on, go on.
nah, Bronze, fuck that. It ain't even about the accept because look, Chewbacca been here all his motherfucking life. Am I right or wrong?
Hmm. No,
And that
no, no,
nigga
no,
will not
no,
acknowledge all the shit we done did.
no. I'm talking about no. When I say acceptance, accepting that we're more than just African and African.
We never
We're
was African, man.
no. I'm talking about we have African DNA, but we are indigenous to America. He can't accept that we're indigenous to America, and when the entitlement comes from is him trying to tell us who we are. That's why I said that. But
Well,
go
see,
on.
look, check this out. How come they don't say that shit to the white man then?
A lot of these foreigners and these all white organizations are scared. But go on,
Check
go on.
this out.
Hold on, Dorsey,
If
finish.
Africa, huh?
Go on, finish. Don't let me get you off topic. Go on, finish what you need to say. I need
Okay,
you to land.
if Africa, if the Africans, the 54 nations felt that they were motherfucking the originals, why don't they impose the same shit on the white man?
Mm, it's crazy.
If they so superior, if they so smart, if they all that shit they claim to be over us,
Mm-hmm.
why aren't you saying that shit to the white man?
Mm. All right.
Because understand this, the white man benefited from us, our inventions that
All
were
right.
passed on to them.
All right, Dorsey. I need you to. I gotta go now because I gotta get this show started. I'm cut from time. That's why.
All right, man. It's just
But
that, hey, man, if
I'm
you
gonna
could,
answer. Yeah, I'm gonna answer your question when the phones before I
okay,
start.
well,
I'm gonna read
look,
a
I'm
little bit of
landing the
this.
plane.
Oh.
Okay, I done stole a couple of them liquor bottles. I'm walking off, I'm wobbling off the plane,
Nah, you wasn't
and
on
I'm
that.
going to the airport.
You're not on that shit like you was on that shit before, man.
No, I ain't. But on real shit, man. We are people that existed before they ass even became a nation, so
Yeah.
they can talk that bullshit to somebody else. My
Mm.
ancestors was on this motherfucking part of the world for 40,000 years. I can trace back my lineage. Fuck what
Mm.
they talking about.
Shit. Thank you, Dorsey.
We
I
still
appreciate.
own our land. We still own our land called Tougaloo, Mississippi. And
Mm.
see, they'll never want to go ahead and if I show them proof, if I show them land deeds, they still not going to accept it.
Yeah, that's why I said it's entitlement and it's all about acceptance. They don't want to accept that
Yeah,
Black
but
Americans is more than just African. Like African DNA, we have more. We have more than that. Like everybody knows that Black Americans are has African DNA, but we're so past being African because we've been in America for thousands of years.
thank you.
You know, but that's gonna be on another show that we do talk
No,
about.
no, but see, Bronze, this, and then I'm gonna let you go. Regardless of the past, motherfucker, you still don't respect us in the present. When you tell them that you're a homeowner, they talk all that shit. Oh, you got it from your grandma. You got it. Nigga, we have
Doesn't
been
matter.
stressing generational wealth for decades. And then when we got it, you want to look down on it.
Yeah.
But then when y'all achieve the shit, y'all then look down on some of us that's unfortunate who don't have shit
Mm-hmm.
and then try to tell your nose up like, look what we did. See, you guys are homeless. No, nigga,
Yeah, I don't work
it don't work
hard.
that way.
You don't work hard. You don't work
Nigga, we've been
hard.
had this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I'm gonna land my plane. I'm gonna let you go on with your show, man. But like I said, man, I got one more thing to say. You know, there's one no soccer hooligans here in America, huh?
No, no.
Because we'll beat y'all ass. That's why you can't run through our city because you know all the stadiums is always in the inner city, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if they lose, you know how they get all mad and want to tear up the fucking whole city and shit. They
Yeah.
knew goddamn well not to run their ass into them black neighborhoods and get your shit beat out of because some people told them stay the fuck up out the neighborhoods.
Yeah. It's true.
Don't come with that bullshit in the neighborhoods because we set up special parts of the cities to let you guys have y'all fun, but don't go out here talking that old soccer hooligan shit because these brothers will beat y'all ass.
Mm.
I mean, you got to remember this is Chud. You know, some of them was in Nashville. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah. But Dorsey, I gotta go.
Okay,
I'm
and
cut
what's
for times, Dorsey. I'm
all
cut for
right,
time.
gone. But them white folks knew what time to tell them folks don't come in there with that bullshit. Them niggas will beat your ass. Bye.
Shit. Facts. Thank you, Dorsey. I appreciate it. Shout out to Dorsey. I had to cut them down because I'm cut for time and stuff. I got to do certain things after. Let me put my. But what I like about that conversation with Dorsey before I start reading the live chat, I think Dorsey I think Dorsey gave a great perspective about the civilized tribes. I don't think we talk enough about the five civilized tribes. I think a lot of people think the five civilized tribes are all Serbian. There were probably some mixed people with Serbians, but most of them were Black Americans. You know where those areas is, where those tribal areas are, that's where a lot of black people live. Till this day still live there. There wasn't no Hispanics in the 60s and the 50s in the South like that, like in those areas like Atlanta, I mean Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Florida. Don't forget, a lot of those Latinos came in when the Jimmy was it the Jimmy Carter era, so we can't get that shit fucked up, and this is why I say, Dorsey gave a lot of good perspective, even though it was going off topic, and it's because of me, because I said that the indigenous. So shout out to Dorsey. But let me keep on going on. Let me read. Let's see what this dude said. FBA's consistently beg and try. That's not the topic question, Shabaka. Dorsey says, Chickasaw were in Mississippi and Arkansas. Choctaw was in Mississippi and Louisiana. The who's it? Noetcha was central Mississippi to Alabama. They built roads. They built roads. The not was it the Netras trace was domesticated the deers. Oh, okay. So they were I wouldn't say breeders, but we could say breeders, and they domesticated a lot of animals. So that's probably why where a lot of white people try to domesticate the most worst animals like gorillas and shit like that, like alligators. You can't. And I always tell people all the time, you cannot really domesticate an alligator because it's an opportunist animal. You know, that's why you can't really domesticate it. Reoccupy East. Yeah, we read that. Call in. Money it's on its way. Give me a minute. Look up some facts. Shabaka, Fred, you know nothing about the Chickasaw history. Clearly defined. I guess that's what he meant. What we are. Abadu. What the fuck? We will never let an Afrophobic hate cult divide blacks. That Shabaka, that's not the question, man. What the fuck are you talking about? The Black World is laughing at the ignorance of the FBAs and their self-hate. The FBAs is an echo chamber of the story the government told to initiate. No, the government didn't tell us that. The government told us that we were off fucking slave ships. That's what the government told us, Shabaka. Hey, Lala Brown, shout out to you. Because they is killing their lives, and they throwing them off those reservations now. Yep, facts. What's going on, St. Michael's? Are blacks Ruddy? Is that I don't know. Shabaka, you were certainly 100% correct when it comes to FBA's being a total echo chamber. Let me ask you a question. This is to St. Michael's in Shabaka. A few years ago, Shabaka, you and your people were talking about Black Americans not sticking together. Now, all of a sudden, Black Americans are sticking together. You have a problem with that. Why is that? That's the question I want to ask you Shabaka, and you, St. Michael's. You have a problem with Black Americans unite with unity, no, Black unity, Black American unity. You have a problem with that. That's very concerning. Facts that they were used native and Indian interchangeable because they know it's different. It's a play on word. Oh, thank you, Lala Brown. I actually like that. I'm gonna put that on the screen. The next one, LMFAO. What did you niggas build? Not one stone comparable with Egypt. Whoever the country bunking is. Does Lala Brown tour not a Indian or a Native American? Laugh my fucking ass off. You're a stupid nigga following Dane Calloway. Um, Black Snow Bunny King, I'm gonna have to put you in timeout for a little bit because you shouldn't talk to Lala Brown like that. That's very disrespectful. You called her a stupid nigga. I'm thinking you're white now, Snow Bunny King. I don't even think you're Jamaican. I think you're a white man. Just the way how you talk. That's very concerning, you know. But I gotta put you in timeout for at least 30 minutes, player. Uh, let's see. And this is why delineations is happening because people like Snow Bunny King, Bronze. We shouldn't attach out to attach out to Africans unless you find them in your not even that. I agree with you 100%. I just say Black Americans have African DNA, just like the white man, just like the Asian man, just like the Latinos, the European. We all have African DNA. Do Black Americans have more than most people? Yes, but um, lineage wise, we're a whole different race, a whole different ethnicity. If that makes sense. I get what you're saying. I don't attach myself to Africa just because of that, but I know I have African DNA. You know, I have African DNA. Um, am I African? No, but I have African DNA. It's like let's use St. Michael's theory. He says a Rosalind or a Bronze, you have 33% white DNA, or a Rosalind, you have 13 to 33% white DNA or European DNA. Does that make me a white man though? He would say no. So if I'm saying that, okay, you know what? My family has been in America for thousands of years. Why would I say I'm African if my family been so far out of Africa for thousands of years? My lineage has been traveling all over this world, all over the. Let's not even go all over the world. Travel all over the North American areas. Does that still make me African? So that's where we get into the. This is where a lot of people bump heads at. Um, because people overthink. I don't think they're wrong, but I think they're overthinking what we're talking about or what Black Americans are saying. Let's see. Same thing goes from Bronze Reaper. He is just a stupid nigga pretending to be an. I never said I was Indian. I said I'm indigenous to America. That's all I said. I didn't say I'm Indian. But yo, you gotta slow it down, Black Snow Bunny King. I know you trying to be a white man. It doesn't look good for you, especially when you're Jamaican and the white people don't like your country. The truth is that the Mexicans is the native, and the natives is the Mexicans. That's why it's so. Yes, shout out to Lala. I actually like that. Um, they so sick. They have to come up with the names, facts. You remember the white dude that got that lady in a coma pregnant? No, I didn't hear about that. Lala Brown. Dorsey's out of water. No, do an episode on real history. I sit here and hear you make a false bullshit. I said, Shabaka, you get mad about my opinion? Like, Shabaka, you can't do stuff like that. And you trying to tell me what to do on my show. That's why I always tell you to shut the fuck up, you know? Remember, folks, African Americans is separated from the FBA's. Well, Snow Bunny King, if you're Jamaican, you're an African American. I can't be an African American. I'm a Black American because I'm an admixture. Technically, you're an admixture too, but you're more closer. You have more. You got more validations of having Africa than I can. You could go to African and make a you can make a debate that to say that, you know what, yo, I'm Black American. I mean, I'm African American because I'm from the slave trade. At least I can say the Jamaicans came from Africa. You know, I you can't really say that about Black Americans, and that's the crazy part. You know, and your culture came from Africa. If you look at Black American culture, it's so different from African culture and Caribbean culture. You know, that's the only thing. Like I said, I'm not saying that you're wrong or anything. I just you got to look at that. When did you? When did fuck. I can't answer that question. Black Snow Bunny King, FBA cult. Yeah, I don't know what they're talking about. Afro Troop TV. Shout out to you. The white man is not ashamed of their history. The white man in America makes the rules. Bronze has not has he. I guess he meant to say no facts of his bullshit. Native history. Dorsey can only trace back to slavery. Real Black Americans don't see any immigrants as kins. I could say that. I think you're right. Ray Ray. A lot of them are not kinfolks. Yeah, most of them are enemies or people that that's trying to trying to disrupt what Black Americans is going on. So yeah, I do agree with you, Ray Ray. America is only 250 years old. 250 years. What was Black natives called before then? Dorsey, I can't. I mean Shabaka, I can't answer that question, my friend. Shabaka, you sure do love and praise your white man. Yeah. Shout out to Afro Troop. Chris Ramirez get mad at me over a movie. uh, we actually treat you as mutual. We beneficial, situationally. Fortunately, the situation has changed. We will not be rescuing you. Facts. I told him that. Ray Ray. Chewbacca, you know nothing about my pedigree. You broke nigga. Let's see. The so-called five civilized tribes was natives surrendering to the white man. That's why they're on reservations. No, not all of them are on reservations, Shabaka. Um, Shabaka, pay $5 if you want to talk. Yeah, that's true, Shabaka. If you want to talk, pay $5. When signing trees under civilizing legal means, riffraff whites called boundaries and started tribal wars. Facts. So, bros, I was stating that so facts about over 30. Facts, you was Dorsey. You are right about this. Yeah, you were. Illinois is Indian territory. Oh, I didn't know that. Tethers get mad because we can honestly say we built this economy. Sorry, economy. Yes, you're right, Dorsey. Chewbacca. What job did you hold? Facts. So let's go. Facts and facts. Um, I'm gonna take a quick 2 minute break. I'm gonna go check on my kids. Then after that, we're gonna start the show. So prepare. Just give me 35 seconds. Go get something to drink. Just do your thing. I'll be back in 30. Give me like All right, everybody, I'm back. I'm back, and hold on. 35 seconds to check on his kids, aka the kids aren't really in his room. At home. How do you people take him serious? He's obviously unemployed and living with mama and grandma. Okay, St. Michael's, you didn't answer my question. I need you to answer the question. Shabaka bronze worship a man that is married to a Jewish woman. You didn't answer my question, St. Michael's. I need you to answer the question. If you can't answer the questions, I don't really need you talking, you know? Because it doesn't help it doesn't the reason why I say that, St. Michael's, I don't need you talking if you can't add on to the topic, because technically you have never gave no resources, no facts. No, you gave me your opinion, thank you, but we don't give a fuck about your opinion if it's not a fact. Or you have no the question is, give me a second. Why do you get so mad, St. Michael's, when Black Americans try to tell you what they are? Like, why do you care? You know, whenever a no, I'm sorry. Let me ask the first question. The first question is, when back like 4 or 5 years ago, when the white supremacists and people like Shabaka, this goes to Shabaka too. When y'all said Black Americans weren't sticking together, you say, oh yeah, Black Americans wasn't sticking together and we're looking at 2026 right now. We could talk about 2025 and 2024. We were sticking together. We're all sticking together. We're on the same page. You get mad and say, oh yeah, they all got the same talking points. We're sticking together. This is why we feel like you feel like we're all talking the same. Why are you getting mad about Black Americans sticking together? Like, there's an issue with that, especially you're a white man. You have an issue with a race of people sticking together. Like, I think that's very concerning, St. Michael's. You shouldn't do that because it makes you look like a white supremacist. If you're a white supremacist, you could be a white supremacist. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, you can't get mad when people look at you funny. You know. But let's start the show. I think this is an AI, but let's see what this lady said.
What's good, FBA family? Cantel here. Now, we've been talking about delineation, drawing that line around our people, our history, our debt. But you know what's crazy? The louder we get, the more folks start tripping. Today, we pulling back the curtain on the reactions. From the pan-Africanists calling us divisive, to the Democrats sweating over our votes, to the Republicans trying to use us as a pawn. Let's break down why
Black Americans are sticking together. I'm just being personally honest. Look how many things that had in the past 5 to 6 months has been boycotted. Like, let's personally be honest about that, you know?
everybody got an opinion on our movement and why that just proves we're on the right track. First, you got the critics, like that content creator saying delineation gonna start a war in the community, saying we creating problems for ourselves. Let me ask you this. Was it a war when they brought Black Americans here on slave ships? Was it divisive when they created Jim Crow laws just for Black Americans? Nah. But soon as we create a policy class for ourselves, a specific remedy for a specific crime, now we the problem? They say the solution is for Black Americans to be together. Together under what? under a black umbrella that gets our reparations check split 50 ways, under a pan-African flag while folks from the continent look down on Black Americans calling us lazy. We tried together. They gave us diversity. We want our debt. Then you got the immigrant pushback. They calling Black Americans nativist, saying we being xenophobic, saying we using slurs like tethers. But let's keep it a bean. If you come to my house, eat my food, sleep in my bed, and then tell me I'm the problem for asking you to contribute, that's not xenophobia. That's accountability. They talk about Marcus Garvey and Malcolm X, figures who fought for Black economic power and self-determination. That's exactly what we're doing. We ain't rejecting solidarity. We're rejecting exploitation. We're saying you can't claim kinship when it's time for benefits, but distance when it's time for our struggle. You don't get to be African when it's convenient and American when it's profitable. Now, the politicians. Democrats are scared. They see us asking, what's in it for Black Americans specifically? And they start sweating. They built a whole coalition on our votes, giving everybody else tangibles, DREAM Acts, gender policies, LGBTQ protections, while telling Black Americans to wait. Now we saying, nah, we want our line item. And they call Black Americans disruptive. And the Republicans, they smiling. They think they can use our frustration about immigration to push their agenda. Let me be clear. We are not a wedge. We are a sovereign people with a sovereign claim. We ain't aligning with nobody who ain't writing the check. This ain't about left or right. This about what's owed. But here's the proof we winning. California. When that reparations task force sat down, the big debate was, who qualifies? The Pan-African crew said, all Black people. But the Black American argument won. Lineage, descendants of U.S. slavery. That's a policy precedent, y'all. That's our philosophy in ink. They said we was just internet fluff, but we shifted a whole state policy. That's material. So family, the backlash means we're hitting a nerve. The old playbook is scared of our new strategy. Our unity ain't...
I'm gonna say this. She's right. This AI is right. It's right because a lot of these Democrats and Republicans, and I said it before, even St. Michael's, you're guilty of this too. You can't adapt with society. You're having a hard time of adapting with society. You know,
I do. Like, genuinely, do you?
yeah, you're having a hard time adapting with society. You know, now we're going to talk about the red natives or the Aboriginal indigenous, the copper, the Aboriginals, the Serbians, basically being exposed of who the indigenous people were.
Hear me on this. Do you have this weird feeling of where you just want to go home? You just, like, your spirit is telling you go home, wherever home is. But you know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean when I say home. When do we get to go home?
Native American was just arrested and ICE tried to deport her.
Today we will hear from Black Americans speaking on being the Aboriginal Indigenous American copper-colored people of America. Check it out.
They took so much time and effort to bury the truth about who we are. They just wanted us to be slaves from Africa, to have no identity, to have no roots. And they went to great lengths.
St. Michael's, I don't think you understand. Black Americans are not from Africa. Technically, I'm going to say this, St. Michael's, technically, you're not really Irish. You're really a Neanderthal, you know? You're not from Europe, technically. You're from the Caucasus Mountains of Georgia, Russia. You don't have hair, you have fur. Why do you think you get lice and ticks?
to cover up our identities. So they are controlling the vital statistics and what it looks like and who is on the census and how you are represented on the census. Oh, you're light skinned or you're this, that, or the other. That was introduced to us by colonizers. So let's stop pushing forward that narrative and remember who we are. We are the people of this land. We honor the land. We honor our ancestors. We honor the truth. So let's, share our truths. If your truth is different than mine, it doesn't mean you're wrong and I'm right, or I'm right and you're.
So, St. Michael's, you think I'm lying? You don't think you're a Neanderthal? You don't have Neanderthal blood. You know what a Neanderthal is, right? Basically, I'm saying is, well, I'm not saying. The Moors say it. Even Africans, even conscious people, they said people with Neanderthal blood has dog blood, has ape blood, and subhuman blood. Hmm? Oh yeah, monkey blood. That's what it was. Yeah. Yeah, that's what you are, St. Michael's. And there's nothing wrong with that. No, the Moors weren't Arab. You know? Were some Arab? There were some, but they were admixtures of black people. Technically, and I'm gonna say this, the Moors technically were the Hebrew Israelite. I mean, they were Israelites. A white man told me that. The Moors were Israelites. That's why they look down. I'm telling you, St. Michael's. I'm not saying this because I hate white people. I'm telling you this because you're a cool guy. You're weird. But there's certain things I do like about you. You're cool. But we can't lie about history. That's why the Moors said, yo, if you sleep with the people from the Caucasus Mountains, that's bestiality. That's what they were saying. They look down on the Moors who do shit like that. They look down, the Hebrew Israelites, they look down on people who sleep with white women and impregnate white women. They consider that bestiality or sleeping with the devil or demons. It's not my ideology, it's theirs. Like St. Michael, so what if you got dog and monkey blood? I mean monkey DNA. There's nothing wrong, but maybe that's why you're aggressive person. You're very aggressive, you're very passive aggressive as well. It's probably the Neanderthal blood like Marquette said. The you was created by the Yakubs. So I'm just asking the question. I'm asking the question to you. Do I believe it? I don't care. I'm not white. That ain't got nothing to do with me. But there are people out here that believes that. This is what I'm trying to say to you, St. Michael's.
Wrong. It just means this is what I found.
What I know and what I've heard and just what I've seen is that the GOV is trying to say that birthright citizenships of Native Americans isn't a real thing. that we were not here, and so it's not our right just to be a citizen of America, because pause, now I'm hearing because we actually came from Siberia and we weren't always here. So that's what I'm getting at, is that there's a lot of different places I've heard in right now up north, people's reservations are getting split in half and some are being sent to Canada. How is that possible? I don't really know. The Siberia thing, I don't know. I'm just reading comments, and this is what everyone's saying is, we weren't from here. We're not the first ones here. Okay, I wasn't here years and years and years ago, so I can't really tell you, but from, I don't know, just history in itself, I don't know where the hell we're all going to go. So be it. I mean, turn up in Siberia, I guess. You know, all my natives are just going to meet me there. We're going to have a big old party in 49, you know? That's probably what we're going to do.
Black American ancestors, the copper-colored indigenous Americans, did not come from Africa at all. They were the master architects who built the pyramids on both continents long before there were any African dynasties.
I want to stop you and answer this, everybody. They said they were architects. They said that they were architects. Who else was an architect? The Moors. I'm just saying. The Moors were architects. And the Copper Indians were architects. This is what I'm asking you. With these Serbian natives, how do you know that they were the indigenous people that they are talking about? Because even to this day, even when they had reservations, where have they created and built? There's nobody stopping them from creating an empire, bigger communities, doper communities. When Black Americans got let out of slavery, they were already building. And what did the white supremacists do? Blew the motherfucker up.
Africa learned civilization from Black Americans, not the reverse. Black Americans are the descendants of the original master builders, the ancestors who created the most advanced ancient civilizations. Then they spread that knowledge globally. We are the original Moors of Tamari or Turtle Island. We are the ancient Egyptians. We are the mound builders of Mississippi. We are the Olmecs, the Mayans, and the Aztecs. This gets so deep, we're just getting started.
You see why these motherfuckers hate us so much, bro? Yo, you cannot make this shit up. So I'm up here doing Lyft, right? And I pick up this elderly black woman and her son, right? So then at first they brought up the conversation about the weather in Austin, talking about Austin and stuff like that. And the most I put it on my spirit, I'm like, ma'am, can I ask you a question? I'm like, you know, cause she's older. I was like, have you ever heard anything from your grandparents about you know, being from Africa, any customs, traditions, or anything like that from your parents and your grandparents, right? Because this woman, she probably was like in her 70s, probably like early 70s, right? She was like, no. I was like, you ever heard anything about them being Native American or Indian? She was like, yeah. She was like, her grandparents to full-blooded Cherokee, the woman said full-blooded Cherokee Indian, bro. Cherokee, and I think she said an Apache from a 70-year-old woman, right? A woman in her 70s. And then she was going into history about, bro, the Most High was just using her to speak, bro. She was like, she was going into history of like, yeah. And it's in alignment with another video that I seen a sister, an older woman on here posted. She was like, yeah, we was already here and they fucking came over here, bro. And she was going into the story about like how, you know, some of us ran this way, that way, but we was already here, bro. I'm like, yo, you can't make this shit up, bro. Because what you already know, because we already know this, what the father do? He sent people to just confirm it. I didn't coerce her. I didn't say I literally said, did you ever hear us anything about being Native American or Indian? And the spirit just started flowing through her, bro. You can't make this shit up. Black Americans are the real fucking American Indians. The real American Indians, bro. Like, time's fucking up. These lands, the number one lands on earth, are our fucking lands. And these motherfuckers gotta get the fuck off of our lands. It's as simple as that, bro. You can't make this stuff up. Yeah, time's up. You're dealing with the awakened. Okay?
Why do Native Americans feel like they're native to this land? You're not native to this land. If you was native to this land, then Ancestry.gov wouldn't show that your ancestors are from Siberia. Matter of fact, you can Google the fucking shit. Y'all originate from Siberia. Y'all don't come here, okay? And then Africans keep wanting us to believe that we're African and that we're native to Africa because they want our reparations. And they know that all the treaties of the land.
That's crazy. She actually makes a great point. She was saying a lot of these Native Americans. That's why I don't like the word Native or Aboriginal. I do like the word indigenous. You know, I think indigenous says what it means about Black Americans. We are indigenous to American. We're indigenous. Even if you say Black indigenous, I can agree with that. That's why this is why I always tell people all the time, Claude Anderson, I like him a little bit more than Tariq Nasheed, and it's because Claude Anderson is an elder. Tariq Nasheed is a scholar. You know, he's a scholar. And we can't take that. And you know me, I'm not going to take anything away from Tariq Nasheed, but to me, Claude Anderson is our teacher. He's an elder. He's seen, he saw, he conquered. Vini Vici. You know? That's who Claude Anderson was.
And is the reason why y'all are able to come here. Is the reason why everybody is able to come to America. Because there's treaties that was set with different countries. Why do y'all think Native Americans have what they have? Why do you think Somalians have what they have? Why do you think Hispanics have what they have? There's different treaties with the lands of different countries. And when they come here, they are allowed to have certain businesses set up and different loans set up for them. Anyways, I added proof. I also want y'all to go look up scientific evidence that the first people to ever live was Black people. You will ask, oh, why does it matter? Because everything was stripped from us. Pre-colonization will also show you when they changed around the map because civilization started in America, not in Africa. And remember, pre-colonization was when Black colonies existed and we owned everything. And yet they took all of our information from us.
Based upon all this info you have given me, why is it important for so-called African Americans to know this information and what can be done with it? Why is this information so important for the so-called African Americans? The truth about the Shi, Amaru, Olmec, Southeastern indigenous tribes, and the erasure of dark-skinned indigenous Americans is critical for the so-called African American because it directly challenges the false narrative of their origins and identity. It's not just history. It's the key to understanding who we really are, what was stolen from us, and how we can reclaim our power. It proves that African Americans are not just descendants of enslaved Africans. The mainstream narrative tells African Americans that they all come from Africa through the transatlantic slave trade. However, early European accounts, U.S. government records, and indigenous oral histories confirm that many dark-skinned Native Americans were reclassified as Black to erase their indigenous land rights and sovereignty. That means that a significant portion of today's African American population is actually of indigenous American descent. It exposes the systematic erasure of our indigenous identity. Laws were created to strip indigenous identity from dark-skinned tribes and force them into Black category. The Dawes Rolls, U.S. Census, and one-drop rule was used to separate us from our indigenous nations. If we don't know who we are, we can't reclaim our stolen lands, culture, or political power. It reconnects us to our spiritual and cultural roots. The southeastern tribes, Yamasee, Washita, Creek, Seminole, Choctaw, etc., share beliefs, practices, and languages with the Olmec, Shi Amaru. The Black Church, Hoodoo, and African American spiritual traditions contain hidden indigenous elements. Reclaiming these practices help us reconnect with the land and restore our ancestral wisdom. It challenges the Bering Strait theory and the primitive Indian myth. History books teach that all Native Americans came from Asia through the Bering Strait around 13,000 years ago, and that they were primitive hunter-gatherers. But the Olmec, Washita, and Mississippian mound builders proved that indigenous civilization in the Americas were advanced and connected globally. If we reclaim our indigenous past, we destroy the colonial lie that we were savages who needed European civilization. What can be done with this knowledge? Reclaim your indigenous identity and tribal connections. Start researching your family history, surnames, and census records to see if
Be active. Do you have proof? Do you have proof?
your ancestors were reclassified from Indian to Negro or mulatto. Look into freeman rolls, Dawes rolls, and tribal connections in the Southeast. If you find indigenous roots, connect with existing tribal groups or work to restore recognition for erased nations. Use this knowledge to fight for land and reparations. If your ancestors were indigenous, your family's land was likely stolen through forced reclassification. Some tribes, such as the Washita Nation, are fighting for land rights that were stolen from dark-skinned indigenous peoples. Understanding this history strengthens the case for reparations, not just for slavery, but for the erasure of indigenous identity. Revive indigenous cultural and spiritual practices. Learn about mound building, agricultural techniques, herbal medicine, and ceremonies that our ancestors practiced before colonization. Many African American traditions contain hidden indigenous roots, such as drumming, root work, and storytelling. By reclaiming these traditions, we restore our ancestral power. Challenge the narrative in schools and media. Push for historical curriculum changes that include the truth about dark-skinned indigenous Americans. Educate your community through TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and local events, and expose the erasure of indigenous history in mainstream textbooks. Build economic and political power through indigenous identity. Native American tribes receive federal recognition, land allotments, and
Can I ask y'all a question? Ron's haven't. Yeah, you have. Yeah, he's on point. Be active. Let me ask you a question, everybody, before I lose my memory. My why haven't the red Serbian Indians haven't built anything new? The only ones who built anything was the casinos. Other than that, where else did a lot of these native indigenous have built? That's the question I want to ask. You know, because Black Americans have built. You know, we built communities. You know, so even to this day, you go to Martha's Vineyard. It used to be, if not, still is a black middle class or upper echelon area.
economic benefit. If more African Americans prove their indigenous roots, it could shift the political and economic power.
I agree that.
Sovereign indigenous nations have legal rights that Black Americans as a racial category do not. Conclusion, this is a call to action. This history isn't just about the past, it's about reclaiming what was stolen. So many so-called African Americans are actually indigenous Americans whose identity was erased. Reclaiming this truth allows us to reconnect with our ancestral lands, traditions, and legal rights. This is about power, land, and sovereignty.
When most people hear Native American, they imagine red skin and feathers. When they hear Black American, they think Africa and slavery. The reality is that Native Black American Indians have always been part of this land. Early European maps and journals described Black Indians up and down the Atlantic coast, Tribes with dark skin, curly or woolly hair, living in organized nations before Europeans ever set foot here. In fact, many southeastern tribes, the Yamasee, Washita, Catawba, and even branches of the Cherokee, were described as black. Some even fought against colonists in the 1500s and 1600s, long before slavery became the main narrative. One erased truth is land ownership. Native Black American Indians held territory across the South: Georgia, Florida, Louisiana, Mississippi. The Washita Nation, recognized in old French and Spanish treaties, were black indigenous people who lived along the Mississippi River Valley. They farmed, fished, built towns, and traded with Africa and the Caribbean before colonization. That history has been buried because it doesn't fit the slaves-only storyline. Another truth,
they did import and export with them. Yeah, they broke. Yeah, Dorsey, they broke. That's why they can only have outrage on. That's why their outrage only has to come off on the live chat, you know. No. Mm-mm. Those are failed countries. Be active. Your country, Puerto Rico, is a failed country. It's being colonized by the white man right now. You know who's a big face in Puerto Rico right now? Jake and Logan Paul. That's the face of Puerto Rico. Jake and Logan Paul. Two white men. You know? That's the face of Puerto Rico. You know who's the face of Venezuela right now? Donald J. Trump. You can't get mad at me. You let them colonize your land. And you talk crazy about Black Americans. This is what I'm trying to tell you. You can't talk crazy about me because, you know, you believe you have a land, but your land's being colonized right now.
Seminole Nation. The Seminole people in Florida were never a Iroquois and Algonquian speaker. Has a recognized origin story. People study and celebrate where they came from. But when it comes to Black Americans, the conversation too often begins and ends with slavery. That's no accident. It's a systemic form of historical erasure. But history, oral traditions, archaeology, and even admissions by modern tribal nations.
This one is actually really, really good. This is evidence.
Your family that you know of is from Texas.
Yeah, right.
Were you ever told that your family came from Africa?
No.
As far as you remember, all your family is from where? Beaumont, and you said Moscow.
Mm-hmm.
So far, all your family that you know of is from Texas.
Yeah, right.
You never known you was from Africa. Like, nobody ever told you that, right?
No.
Right. But kind of along history, we've been told that our family, our ancestors was enslaved, that they came from Africa, that they was brought on a ship over here from Africa.
Yeah, I know it's a story. Some movie I saw it.
Yeah, it's a story. Mm-hmm. Like they teach that in schools.
So you're telling me the Native Americans that you're talking about had fur? They didn't have hair, they had fur, right? They had fur, right?
So people know that's being fact. Like you said, you never was told you were from Africa.
Mm-mm.
So we was like, wait a minute, we may not be from Africa. Maybe we was already here. What do you think about that?
Well, yeah, if you wasn't born or raised in Africa, you know, I don't know no ancestors, they just from Africa. So
right, and like I said, your mama or
Right back
mother
to you,
never
Mike.
told you that we were from Africa. Right. So that's what a lot of people, especially my age, were asking our grandparents about our history. And a lot of them are saying something very similar, that they were never taught about Africa.
That's right. Never.
So my generation, we're like, wait a minute. We may not be from Africa. We may be from here.
I think we are from, Texas or
America.
Okay, right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, not Africa, no.
Welcome back. My name is BJ, right? I missed you all. But let me just quickly do this topic. You have not been here for so many reasons, and a lot of you know, right? And I hope you're praying for me. Yeah, let me do this topic here. Yeah, when people see Black Americans, the first thing they say is, you're African. But what if I told you not all Black Americans come from Africa, the way people think? This conversation is not about disrespecting Africa. It's about telling the truth and identity, history, and lineage. Stay with me because this
What
might
up,
challenge
everybody?
what you...
Shabaka disappeared. I don't think he heard what this African lady said. Let's rewind it.
Not Africa, no.
Welcome back. My name is BJ, right? I missed you all. But let me just quickly do this topic. You have not been here for so many reasons, and a lot
And
of you
shout
know,
out to
right?
Africa.
And I hope you're praying for me. Yeah, let me do this topic here. Yeah, when people see Black Americans, the first thing they say is, you're African. But what if I told you not all Black Americans come from Africa, the way people think? This conversation is not about disrespecting Africa. It's about telling the truth and identity, history, and lineage. Stay with me because this might challenge what you have been taught. Yeah, this might challenge it. So please stay with me on this, right? Now, the common belief. Most people believe that every Black American is simply an African who lost their way. But history is not that simple. Africa is a continent with thousands of ethnic groups, languages, and nations. And Black America or Black Americans are not just a recycled African identity. Do you understand that? They are not a recycled African identity. Black Americans are a distinct people formed through a unique historical process. Slavery created a new people. Yeah, that's one thing people should also know. A recycled African. Africans from many different tribes were intentionally mixed, stripped of language, names, and tribal identity. Over generation, something new emerged. Black Americans are not allowed to remain Yoruba, Igbo, Akan, or Mandinka. They become a new ethnic group with their own culture, their own spiritual traditions, their own foods, their own dialects, their own history of survivals. This is how ethnic groups are formed. Bloodlines are more complex than Africa alone. Here's the part many people ignore. Black Americans are multiple, right? And the way they are so much in number, they have multiple bloodlines. African, Native American, European, and sometimes Caribbeans, even Indians, yeah. This doesn't erase Black identity, it explains it. Slavery in America created fox mixing, not a...
I think she's very right about that. I think she got a good perspective of what's going on with Black American culture. She gets what Black Americans are saying, and this is why I said not everybody who is African are against Black Americans. They get what's going on, but it's just you come to a point where a lot of these people don't get what's going on. They don't get what's going on, or they try not to get it. Hold on. Give me a second, everybody. There we go. But yeah, it's a lot of people try not to get it, and it's a headache. But at the end of the day, we still have to. We still cannot lose focus of what's going on. This is why this question is very interesting. You can look at it three different ways. Why do they have that problem? Why do they have a problem with Black Americans um, telling you what their identity is? There's a reason why a lot of Black Americans is like, yo, I'm not African. I'm a Black American. I'm Black. You know. So yeah, hold on one second. Yeah, man, and this is what it comes from. You know, this is why this tension. This is why that Black Americans. This is why a lot of Africans and Caribbeans have a problem with Black Americans because we're telling you what we are, and you just can't accept it. You got to accept what we are. You know.
Pure African continuation. Do you understand that? So when people say you are just African, that erases centuries of Black American history. It's wrong. It erases centuries of Black American history. So don't do that. Now, identity is not just DNA. DNA alone does not define a people. Jews are not all from the same country. Arabs are not all from the same nation. Yet no one questions their identity. Black Americans are allowed the same identity. They are a people, not some misplaced tribe. Do you understand that? Black Americans are allowed the same dignity too. If you say these people are not that too, allow them to say they're not. For me, if you ask me, I'll say we have the same, color, but we're not the same. The truth is, you can also respect Africa without erasing Black Americans. Do you understand that? Now, honoring Africa does not mean denying Black Americans their uniqueness. Black Americans are not lost Africans. They are found people with their own legacy. Africa is the root, but America is the tree that grew. Do you understand? And you don't disrespect the tree to honor the roots. Of course, nobody does that. So now, why do you think this conversation even matters in the first place? When Black Americans are told they don't exist as a people, it affects reparations. Do you understand that? It's really crazy. It affects reparation, historical injustice, cultural disrespect, global Black unity, right? You can't fight for justice if you erase identity. No, stop that. Stop that. Especially as Africans, stop it. Stop it. These people are different people. And the more we keep saying this, it keeps affecting even, their reparations and all of that. Anyways, watch these videos. I'll be back with the closing. Okay? But do not forget, credits to those creators, right, who owns those videos. Right, my name is Blessing. Just keep watching. I'll be back.
The average African-American genome is very distinct from the African genomes from which they were taken. Now, you couple that with the fact that there is more genetic diversity within the African continent than in the rest of the world put together, which means that, on average, someone from Senegal is more different genetically to someone from Angola than either of those people are to anyone else on the rest of the planet. And that's just what the genetics says. So I know this is quite a brain scrambling concept.
No, I'm with you.
But this is one of the problems with the earlier conversation about how we categorize people. We say Black people, right? Because Linnaeus said Black people, Homo sapiens Affa or Africanus. But actually, it's a completely incoherent biological category because of the amount of genetic diversity that exists in people from who are in Africa or from the African diasporas. So how this relates to the transatlantic slave trade means that you've got two people taken from maybe neighboring tribes or counties or whatever the equivalent is, or countries, who are taken from their birthplace, put onto ships, mixed around, they live or die, they then traded around, forcibly mated potentially. We know from the genetics now that there is a lot of European DNA in the African American genome, and mostly it is from male Europeans into female African Americans. So, figure that out. Interestingly, the converse is also true. Many white Americans have up to 20% of African ancestry that we can measure in their DNA.
All right, y'all, I have a quick question. Hopefully this will reach East African TikTok, or at least East African TikTok of folks who live in America. So I got a quick question. So I am a teacher. I teach at a high school that's predominantly African American, but we still have a good chunk of students who are from the continent. So I was having a discussion with some of my East African students and West African as well. I have I would say a decent mix, mostly East African, but a little bit of a mix of those students. And I teach Black history, and so we're talking about phenotypes and all the stuff that kind of comes in the curriculum for AP African American Studies. And one of my students was like, Miss Trice, you really could pass for East African. Now I want to clarify all this by saying I'm not one of these people like, oh my gosh, I hate being African American. No ma'am, I will be Black in every lifetime. But I'm just out of curiosity, for those of you all on here who are East African, are my students right? Do I look East African? Could I pass for East African? Full disclosure, I am, I've done the 23andMe and all that. It's a tiny percentage, it's not much, which is, I wasn't expecting any. But just out of curiosity, could I pass for East African? Do I look East African? I've got some of my Kenyan students, and Burundi and Rwandan students have also the same.
What African was and what American was and what they meant together. So the African is the African DNA, and the American is what she called original settler DNA. She didn't say it was a mix of African and European. She didn't say it was a mix of African and Native American. I specifically asked her if original settler DNA was European or Native American. She said no. I asked her the same question so many times that she was getting frustrated with me, until she finally said, the people that are from that land. And she said it just like that because I was pissing her off. So I spent half an hour to 40 minutes asking her the same question over and over again. I refused to get off of the phone until I was certain that I was hearing what she was saying to me.
I stumbled upon this peer-reviewed article from 2016, which was a fantastic example about how DNA and historical narratives get braided.
Be active. You're not Taino. You're a white Hispanic. You're closer to being a Spaniard more than closer to being a fucking indigenous to Puerto Rico. I tell you that. You're a Spaniard. You are a colonizer. So I'm being honest with you. I don't even think you have a lot of percentage of African blood in you. And it's all right. It's all right. It's just, I'm not going to lie and say oh, this guy's a Taino. The Taínos I've seen look Black. They damn near look Brazilian. They didn't look like you. Be active.
Braided together in a very intentional way. So this article is called Crossing Disciplinary Lines, Reconciling Social and Genomic Perspectives on the Histories and Legacies of the Transatlantic Trade in Enslaved Africans. It can be found in the journal New Genetics and Society. The first part of this paper walks through the limits of constructing consumer DNA panels, but the second part is interesting. It looks at how consumer ancestry reports are framed for the public. In this article, they do case studies on two specific companies related to specifically connecting African Americans to African DNA. Page 18, they discuss one of the ways that they are able to create the narratives for consumers. It states, It's worth noting that by Haywood and Thornton standards, the genetic results provided to the participants of African American lives and to African DNA customers could only be considered reliable and truthful if they were able to be placed within the specific historical context of the transatlantic slave trade in enslaved Africans. Although any exact genetic match with another individual correctly indicates biological descent from a common ancestor and therefore may logically be characterized by American genealogical conventions as signaling the two people are biologically related, they were only concerned if they were able to establish a connection between that African American person and an African. Literally, in their own words, by matching genetic anomalies in African American and an African, one can establish that these two individuals had a common ancestors 2 centuries ago. But the issue is that they weren't looking at all the anomalies across the data set. They were filtering only if it could be justified by the transatlantic slave narrative, which we just said. They also discuss how when Henry Louis Gates was filming, I guess, a show about African American lives, he had his own DNA reanalyzed. And if you can see right here, for the filming of the show, Gates' mtDNA was reanalyzed, and the results indicated, on the contrary, that the vast majority of haplotype matches were found in West Europe between Paris and Dublin. Kittles, who is the owner of the original DNA company, subsequently conceded that the latter result was more likely to be correct. So they essentially discounted any DNA that was not African because it didn't fit the central premise of the company, which was supposedly...
Be active. You're a white Hispanic. There's nothing wrong with being a white Hispanic. Be active. Why you so mad? Why are you so ashamed of being a white Latino or European Latino? You know, there's nothing wrong with it. You're a European Latino. You're not African. You're a European Taino. You know, I mean, you're European Latino. Yes.
Connecting African Americans to African, meaning that history for the concept of the transatlantic slave trade,
which is fine, but it never connects us to any live African people. All of our DNA matches are people from the Americas. Okay, so that's one red flag. So I started to do a little bit more research, and I actually sent my DNA to a smaller company that is not, they don't get no shine at all. I've never seen a commercial or anything with the company that I'm going to talk about. But that company was able to pull up my native history, well, American Indian. I know people don't like to say native, but American Indian history. I was able to pull up that part of my history, and I was able to pull up some of my African history, which is a small amount, but it's there. I still claim it, I still rep it, as well as my European history. And I also have a little bit of percentages of history from Papua New Guinea, okay? And a little.
I don't know what that is, but that I'm sorry, everybody. It was just going too slow for me.
American. The term African American was meant to reconnect descendants. Notice more people saying, "Don't call me African American, I'm just black." Why is that? Is it pride, pain, or something deeper about belonging and identity? Today, we're diving into a topic that's emotional, historical, and often misunderstood. Why some Black Americans no longer want to be called African American, and how we can change the narrative.
Be active. Do you know a lot of those Spaniard people had Moorish blood, right? If you want to do DNA, do you know a lot of them had some type of Moorish blood? Because 700 years ago it was ran by the Moors. That's why Spain was looking beautiful until the Europeans took it over. Yeah. They were exiled out of Spain. So there were brown colored people there, but they are still considered white people. Yeah. And this is from 60 to 50 50, was it 600 to 700 years ago. So there will be some people that are brown skinned. But you're a European Hispanic. Be active. There's nothing wrong with that, man.
For centuries, Black identity in America has been shaped by survival, from being stripped of names, languages, and origin to creating a culture that's uniquely American. The term African American was meant to reconnect descendants of enslaved Africans with their roots to honor where they came from. But for many today, that connection feels distant or even forced. Language has always evolved with the times. In the 1960s, Black became a symbol of power and pride. Then in the late 1980s, African American was reintroduced to restore heritage and dignity. But now a new generation is asking, what if my story isn't about where my ancestors came from, but about where I am now? For some, Black feels stronger, simpler, a shared cultural identity built in America, not defined by geography. Part of this disconnect comes from the image of Africa the world, especially the West, has painted. For generations, Africa has been shown as one poor country instead of 54 diverse nations. And let's be honest, who wants to be connected to something the world constantly calls poor? It's like having a relative everyone pities, no one wants to claim them. But here's the truth, Africa is not poor, Africa has been made poor. For centuries, the survival and wealth of the West depended on African gold, oil, minerals, labor, and creativity. Africa is rich in every way, resources, culture, people, and potential. It's the birthplace of humanity and innovation. But the colonial mindset has taught both Africans and Black Americans to forget that. There's also pain on both sides. Africans sometimes feel rejected by Black Americans. Black Americans sometimes feel judged by Africans. But behind that tension is the same story, a story interrupted by slavery, distorted by colonization, and divided by lies. We are the same people, carrying the same history in different languages, different accents, and different struggles.
Be active. You are a European Hispanic. There is nothing wrong with being a European Hispanic. Yo, why Hispanic? Like why like why lie about it?
It's time to change the story, to replace shame with pride and distance with connection. Because when we see Africa not as a burden, but as our foundation, we rise together. When we unlearn the colonial mindset, we remember the truth. Africa is not a charity case. Africa is the root of power, culture, and resilience. Our future depends on unity, not division, on rewriting the narrative, not repeating history, rebuilding hope, dignity, and purpose for generations who are
know what? Let's let her finish.
Taught to forget who they are. Identity isn't black and white. It's layered, emotional, and evolving. Whether you call yourself Black, African American, or Afro-descendant, what matters is understanding and respect. Because knowing your roots doesn't erase who you've become, it strengthens it.
I would tell this lady, and I'll subscribe to you because I do like the other side of what I think about. She made some valid points, but those valid points worked probably 40 years ago, 40 to 60 years ago. They sent the Africans and the Caribbean sent over the wrong people. You can't get mad at Black Americans who don't want to fight for these people anymore because of the disrespect of what these people were given towards Black Americans. Black Americans said, "Yo, I'm sick and tired of that. Fix your shit yourself, and I'm not gonna let you talk to me no type of way." This is why the Mexican the Mexican and Latinos are coming out, and saying the stuff that they're saying. This is why, because we're not helping no more. We're not giving that. Oh yeah, you my brother. No, it's not. It's none of that. Yo, handle, handle your biz. It's time for you to get busy out here. And I get it. It's probably frustrating because you know what? You don't have that help that you usually have. Sometimes you got to go back and say like, yo, we fucked up. How can we fix this? How can we have unity? We don't want to hear entitlement. I think this is where the situation comes from. It comes from people being entitled to telling what black people what to do. This is why Godfrey's going through the same shit that he's going through. You can't play both sides. You know, I'm not trying to say turn on Africans, but at the end of the day, you shouldn't let people do bullshit on your platform and not say anything. This is what happened. That doesn't. That's what you are, Saint Mike. I mean, be active, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's all right being a white man. Damn. Don't be surprised if you got some type of Neanderthal blood in you. That's why y'all got the cartels and stuff like that chopping up people and shit, and even with the sexual violence. Don't forget, there's a lot of sexual violence that go on in the Latino community, man, that y'all need to clean up and fix. You might not admit it because it's embarrassing, but like shit like this happened. You know, it's just you gotta fix it. Ain't nobody perfect, St. Michael. I mean, be active. There's nothing perfect. Ain't nobody perfect. Be active. But at the end of the day, you have to say something to your people. This is why be active. This is why right now you're begging and you're crying. You're crying and not even begging. You're bitching and moaning about Black Americans not working with Latinos. You're bitching and moaning on my show about it. Oh, we all need to work together. I got black friends. So what? So the fuck what? I got friends that happens to be fucking Latinos. But at the end of the day, I still gotta hold his people on my show accountable of the historical shit that they have done and still are doing. Still are doing. This is why I say you have no reason to be mad at foundational Black Americans. They're doing what they're supposed to do. Like again, example, Godfrey. People was telling him like, "Yo, that's foul. You let this man do that shit on your show." He say, "I don't give a fuck. I did not say it, but it was on your platform. Your platform influenced that bullshit." Then all of a sudden, y'all bitch and moan about when Black Americans stick together and say, "Yo, this bullshit is fucked up." I'm not gonna let you talk to black people like that. You entitled to tell us, "Oh, I didn't do that." Nigga, it was on your platform. If somebody gets, let me tell you something, somebody gets shot in my house, I'm not accountable for what happened in my fucking house. No, this is what happened. I got to take accountability for that shit. I got to say, yo, motherfucker comes and get the fuck out of here with these guns. You can't just watch somebody shoot somebody and say, yo, I didn't do it. Why are you talking to me? Nigga was in your house. Why did you bring these fucking people in the house? Why you let the shit happen? That's what they're going to say. Be active. You don't want to police your people. This is why your people are fucking ignorant. This is why people have a problem with your people. This is why white people want them out the fucking country. Your cousins want them out the fucking country. Because y'all don't want to police them. You got all these fucking gangs running around here fucking committing crimes. And none of y'all niggas say anything? It's coming to a... With these white supremacists, it's coming to a point, even the government is like, yo, if nobody's got to speak up and we don't know who's doing this, we got to get most of these motherfuckers out of here. That's what's going to happen. You don't want to hear it, but I have to say it. You got to police your people. You got to be like, yo, don't be doing that shit around here. Like, yo, we live in a nice community. What the fuck you doing that shit? Or we already got problems in this fucking community. Why are you doing dumb shit? You don't even want to do that. Be active.
Have you noticed more people saying, don't
Give me a second, everybody. Let me exit this out. This one
To say about Trump, but as I have said before, he out here doing the Lord's work. Okay, like yeah, he causing a whole lot of chaos and stuff in America, but from the perspective of the Black American community, Trump is honestly and truthfully delivering karma to so many groups of people that were anti-Black American. So many groups of people that came here and had the nerve and the audacity to be xenophobic towards us, who had the audacity to join in on the racism towards us. Folk who would run around and be like, oh, Black Americans have a victim mindset. Black Americans are jealous of us because we came here and we did this and we did that. Da 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 da. Now a lot of these groups are starting to see how America really fucking work. And what get me is so many of them run around and start crashing out. Oh my gosh, how could they do this? How could they do this? So y'all didn't learn nothing from the people. And it's so crazy because they'll be like, oh, because they didn't do this in 300 years, da 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 da. Baby, the Reconstruction era, right? That's not even during slavery, Black Americans had free societies and free towns and things like that. The Reconstruction era was post-emancipation, literally 10 years after emancipation. Black Americans established businesses, homes, neighborhoods, towns, had politicians in government, etc., and they came and shut all that shit down by simply orchestrating a smear campaign against Black Americans to tear down what Black Americans were doing. And I find it fascinating that every single one of these groups are now experiencing the American system doing the same thing to them. But they don't see it, right? They not clocking that shit. They're not clocking it. And the thing about it is that the American system is not going to feel bad. Trump and them...
So be active. Let me ask you a question. Why do every time you're on my show, you bitch and moan about what Black Americans are doing? You bitch and moan. Oh, y'all are divisive and xenophobic. Let me ask you a question. Why don't you go to the people with these white supremacist page that say they hate fucking Latinos and call y'all niggas spics and shit like that? Why don't you go over there and tell them like, yo, why are you talking about Latinos like that? You're not going to do what you do to Black people because you know what? You're scared of white people. Be active. You have always been scared of white people. Whatever they say is law to you. To me, I talk shit. I get busy over here. We get busy over here. I let y'all say whatever y'all want to say on my show. I just respect the laws of the land. Every time, be active. You, Shabaka, y'all don't go to the people who are the fucking problem. The real problem is the white supremacists. But every time I have a topic on this show, y'all out here defending them, especially Shabaka. Y'all defend these people out here. I still get in arguments when I talk about the white supremacists. Because you know why? Y'all always caping for them. Y'all always caping for them and say, oh, they're being protected by the FBA. Nigga, what? We're the only ones really fighting them. We're the only ones that really get busy out here with them. This is why St. Michael's runs off this fucking show. St. Michael's runs off this fucking show. But who always capes for St. Michael's? The Pan-African leader, Shabaka. And who else? Snow Bunny. He puts the fucking cape on for them.
They don't feel fucking bad. I'm pretty sure they somewhere thinking the same thing. Y'all asses should have listened to Black Americans when Black Americans told y'all this shit. Black Americans was telling y'all the right shit the whole time. Y'all the ones ran around, took upon yourself to say they victimizing themselves. They have a victim narrative when really we were giving y'all true ass fucking American history lessons for free. For the free. We was giving y'all true ass Black American history lessons, true ass American history lessons, true ass motherfucking game. We was doing nothing but giving y'all good game to let y'all know, Hey, this ain't what you think it is. Hey, this how it really work. And y'all ain't listen. Now y'all want to get on here and crash out every time Trump get up here and send the dogs after you. Every time y'all see he want to sit up here and tear down everything that you built, tear down all the hard work that you did. Y'all wasn't the first motherfuckers to come here and work hard. We're the first motherfuckers to come here and work hard. Y'all weren't the first motherfuckers to come here and establish it and be doctors, lawyers, and et cetera, et cetera. We the first motherfuckers to come here and do that. And we was giving y'all real shit. We was telling y'all the truth. So to be honest, as cold-hearted as it seems, I don't feel bad for the Somalis. I don't feel bad for what happened with the Latino. I don't feel bad about any of these other group of folk that this shit is happening to. Y'all need to learn how to listen. Because one thing about it is God is fair and God will humble you regardless of whatever God you serve. God will humble you. God will humble you. Because what happened was y'all were sent messengers, but y'all shot the messenger. Okay? So I'm going to mind my business on this season of America. Okay? Because one thing about it, baby, these motherfuckers around here will show you better than they can tell you. Okay? Will show you better than they can tell you. Y'all ain't got nobody to be mad at but yourselves. That's the truth. Have a good day.
So I want to say this to like all you folks that's trying to stop the delineation movement, all you folks that's just calling Tyreek a CIA op. I mean, just all type of shit, controlled demolition, all types of shit. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Y'all understand. We look at you that way. Okay? Y'all that's trying to stop this delineation movement, we look at you like the enemy. Okay? Because everybody can have their nationality except for us. You know what I mean? We can't establish who we are, but everybody else can. We look at you like the enemy. Please understand that, okay? Yeah, I don't know if y'all don't understand what this means to us. You know, we are literally saving who we are as a people, saving our heritage, saving our culture, our lineage. We're keeping our lineage alive. You feel me? And those of you who trying to stop this shit, just understand that. Just understand, we looking at you funny. You understand? Very funny. Okay? Matter of fact, we don't even want to mess with you. You understand? We look at you like Democrat shields. We look at you at just as what y'all are calling this right here. Because this is no harm to nobody. This is not divisive. It ain't none of that shit. You know what I mean? And I don't know what's this infatuation with us needing to be with Africa when these motherfuckers literally sold the ancestors off. Okay? We need to be getting out, trying to get reparations from these people. Like literally, that's what we need to be.
How many times I said that? I say, yo, we need to get reparations from America, then we need to go to Africa. You know, you saying that we brothers and stuff, y'all should be saying the same thing that Black Americans saying. Like, yo, a lot of these people weren't from Africa. But you want us to be Africans so bad, we're going to come for our reparations now. We're going to come for our reparations in Africa because of that bullshit that y'all saying. They said I was African and they sold us, so you know what? I should get reparations from them.
All we need to be doing when it come to Africa. Period, point blank. Africa was still selling slaves even when the slave trade ended in 1808, I believe. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm just like, I don't know what's this infatuation with this shit over here with this country. You know what I'm saying? Or why we got to be so connected to the diaspora when we ain't trying to disconnect from the diaspora. We just establishing who we are as a people, as a unique ethnic group within this diaspora. You know, and it's so annoying. And I just want to come on here and tell you, okay, we looking at you real funny. Okay. And we look at you like the op. We look at you like the CIA. We look at you like the Democrat shield. Okay. Just know that. All right. FBA all day. Peace and blessings, family.
What I'm witnessing right now with the Somalians out there in Minnesota and all the issues that they're dealing with Trump and deportation, is a prime example. Their response to it is a prime example of why FBAs call Black immigrants tethers. I'm sorry, I'm not one to use that word, but I can see what they mean, because to tether means to attach yourself to something. And right now, I see a lot of Somalians who have never considered themselves Black attaching themselves to Black Americans as a way of deflecting what's happening to them and saying like, oh, we're all Black. And he's doing the same thing to us because we're Black, just like Black Americans. Listen to this.
President Trump and the base that is attacking our community. We understand that you are here to divide us, to create fear amongst us, and to selectively target the Blackest immigrant and Muslim community in this great state. President Trump has had a history of targeting Black people long before he ever ran for any office.
Yeah, Trump targeted Black people. We all know that. But when y'all came here to this country, Black people was like, oh, good, with more Black people, you know, come with us. And we tried to show you what it was like here. We tried to explain to you what was going on, and we were rejected. Like, let's not rewrite history. I know what happened. Y'all made your own communities. Y'all said you had your own culture, separate from us. So now that you're in trouble, you want to claim Blackness? You want to say that Trump already was targeting Black people? Us? He wasn't targeting you then. You're not Black, right? Like, it's a tether. That's a tether. That right there. If you ever wondered what a tether was, that.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl Sandiva, and here is my afternoon rant of the day. Now, I've been seeing this FBA, which is Foundational Black Americans versus African debacle debate. It's a lot going on right now. A lot of Africans feel like Black Americans or foundational Black Americans are mistreating them or being mean to them by boycotting them. The Africans is mad because we chose to boycott them because of how they treat us with the lack of respect that they do. They don't respect us. They always say that when they come over here, they already think we're lazy, poor, and broke, and we don't have no work ethic and no culture and all of this, that, and the third. So when they come over here, they already got a chip on their shoulder. They already got an attitude problem, okay? So we Black Americans, the foundational Black Americans, know that shit's not nowhere near the truth. We work hard every day. That's nowhere near the truth. So not only are the Arabs eating off of us, the Chinese eating off of us, the white folk been eating off of us. The Africans come over here with an attitude and eat off of us. Right. When you get over here and say, oh, my brother, we stick together, but you don't stick together. You open up a business because the government allows it, because of your immigrant status, and they don't give us the same luxury that they give y'all. There's so much to unpack here. But what I got to say about the foundational Black Americans versus the Africans, y'all brought it on y'allself. And this is just the beginning. Arabs, get ready. Chinese, get ready. Mexicans, get ready. White folk, get ready. See, we gonna start where we know the problem is with the Africans. We know they mistreating us like a mug with these raggedy braids, talking about us, and then want to act like us. It's crazy work. So, this is a wake-up call, and I'm so glad the Black people is waking up. We are waking up slowly but surely, but what we got to do next, y'all, is start shopping with each other by any means necessary. I'm talking about toilet paper, diapers, lotion, soap, everything. Purposely go out and seek that person who is selling that stuff and get it from a Black person, because our dollars make this MF go around. And I'm just so passionate right now because I can't believe the Africans got nerve and audacity. It's crazy work. They've been over disrespecting us since they got here.
Can we go to a foreign country and open up a gas station or a liquor store or a grocery store or a beauty supply or something like that? I think the fuck not. They gonna look at your ass crazy. You not from here. I'm not giving you no loan to open up no business here. We got locals can do this shit better than you. But yet we let these people come over here to our country and open up gas stations, liquor stores, and all that shit in our community, and they don't even fucking stay there. They won't even hire us in our own community. People that they hire at these fucking local places is crackheads. women that they want to sleep with. They go and hire their own family members at a rapid rate in this motherfucker. But we go and participate and give all our money to them at a rapid rate. And the only thing we get back in return from them is a whole lot of let me stand around in your business and sell illegal narcotics. That's all we do when it comes down to these people in our community. They don't want to stay in our community. They don't put fucking money back in our community, but we run up there and give them all our motherfucking money. But you let the black people go try to get a loan to open up the same business because they can do the same thing, run a gas station, a liquor store. Fuck no. They're going to put so many fucking obstacles in front of them and tell them, no, we ain't gonna do that. We don't think that's a good business idea. That's gonna fail. But let a foreign person come in there and say, oh, I'm finna open up a gas station, a liquor store, or something like that. Hell yeah. How much money you need? How many you gonna open? We gonna support that shit because it's gonna win. I don't understand that, but we just let that shit just keep riding. Just let it just keep happening at a rapid rate. We don't want to stop that shit. We don't want to just say, nah, we not gonna support you motherfuckers till y'all start hiring people in the community and having people back here that actually want to have a job in the community, that want to work in the community, work at y'all establishment. Until y'all have a large amount of people that's actually diversifying y'all companies, we not no longer gonna shop at y'all. But no, y'all just gonna get up every single day and keep going to that local gas station, that local liquor store, and get them people your money at a rapid rate. Keep on doing it because they're going to keep getting rich and never support your neighborhood and keep on flooding somebody else's neighborhoods in the Beverly Hills or a rich-ass neighborhood. Support them. They're going to pay good property taxes for them. And they property taxes up there going to go to good use in that neighborhood and not the neighborhood they making money out of. That's just my opinion. That's just being honest. We need to reevaluate that shit when it come down to letting people come in our neighborhood at a rapid rate, open up these fucking stores without hiring locals. Just my opinion.
For more than 400 years, foundational Black Americans, those whose ancestors built this nation from slavery through Reconstruction, Jim Crow, the Civil Rights Movement, and into the modern era, have carried a distinct and irreplaceable story. It is a story forged through forced labor, legal segregation, generational terror, political resistance, and cultural brilliance. And today, as America continues changing, the need for clear delineation, a respectful but firm distinction between foundational Black Americans and Black immigrants has become more important than ever. Delineation is not about division. It is about accuracy, justice, and preservation. For too long, the unique lineage, struggle, and achievements of foundational Black Americans have been blended into a vague, catch-all Black category that erases the specific people who built the foundation upon which America stands. FBA delineation is a corrective, an act of self-definition. It ensures that our history, our lineage, and our political claims remain intact, unmuddied, and respected. Historically, no group has paid a higher price for American democracy than Black Americans whose ancestors were enslaved here.
Facts.
The wealth of this nation, its cotton industry, its early banking system, its railroads, its agricultural expansion, was built directly on the backs of FBA labor. And even after emancipation, it was foundational Black Americans who endured lynching, redlining, disenfranchisement, and segregation, yet continued to push the country toward its own stated ideals. During the 1950s and 60s, the Civil Rights Movement, led overwhelmingly by foundational Black Americans, changed.
All right, let me land everybody. Give me a second. Well, this has been a very interesting show. I want to say this as well. A lot of Black Americans, a lot of Black Americans believe a lot what foundational Black American ideology is. Our lineage is based in America, North America. I don't think there should be a problem with that, but towards a lot of people there is a problem because don't forget, Black America is a lot of people's bread and butter. We are there a lot of bread and butter. We're the reason why they can get away with a lot of stuff. Now you can't because you have to do it yourself. You got to DIY it. But again, a lot of y'all got to get y'all shit together. As I've been telling y'all since last year, y'all got to get your fucking shit together. You shouldn't have to depend on Black Americans to help you. Because a lot of Black Americans are not going to help you. So yeah. I'm gonna end the poll too. 100% of people say absolutely we should do the civilized tribe for the Reaper Nation. So we probably might do that this week. Shout out to everybody who hit the polls. So and see what we're gonna do. I'm gonna have some dope ass videos. Truth is not all of us. No, what? Yeah, I thought I was at least half and a half native. I got the surprise when I got my results. I showed shout out to you, player. Shout out to you, man. Jason Marlos. Shout out to you, man. um, I'm gonna give my shout outs. Let me give my shout outs. Give me a second. Shout out to Ray Ray, Dorsey, Be Active. Nice to see you again, Be Active. St. Michael's, Lala Bro. Nice to see you again. Afro Troop TV and Shabaka. Nice to, nice talking to you, Shabaka. You gotta get your money up, man. Everybody, you have a great day. This was a very interesting show. I learned something, and this mostly because of researching. Y'all take care, and I'll see you Wednesday. I don't know if I want to do a Nation Reaper Nation or the Bronze Reaper podcast. We'll figure it out. Most likely we'll do the Bronze Reaper Nation on Thursday. So everybody, y'all take care, and I'll see you tomorrow. No, Wednesday. I'm you know me, I do marketing on Tuesday. So I'll see y'all tomorrow. And if y'all wanna like email me, definitely email me at iamaroshalin@gmail.com, and I'll be returning a lot of y'all calls, and I'm gonna put a lot of shorts out tomorrow. So best definitely be aware of that. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot, but everybody, you take care, and I'll see you Wednesday. Oh yeah, shout out to Lala Brown too. Lala, your name wasn't on there, but I remember